for each of the board members.
Okay. Sure, thank you.
I would like to thank the board for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jennifer Wetzel. I have 2 children at Wheeling Park High School this year. My daughter Lauren is an incoming freshman from Philadelphia Middle School who dropped band during 7th grade. My daughter Haley is a senior and is active in all of the Wheeling Park family of bands, including Jazz and Steel. I'm here to encourage you, the Board of Education, to make the students of Ohio County Schools your top priority. This is all about the kids. The young adults you see before you in the room and in the hallway have been abandoned by the administration. In spite of the uncertainty of a new director, they have had a wonderful year, growing not only in musicianship, but more importantly, in their personal development. Under the direction of Mr. Jason Birch, our students have learned life skills that are not taught in the traditional classroom. They have demonstrated leadership and ethical and responsible behavior. It is in our students' best interest to have continuity in their program, an effective leader who has experience as a high school band director, a leader who has proven his commitment to his students' best interests. Since the administration's unfortunate decision regarding the next WPHS band director, several of the parents here tonight have been actively researching the hiring process. We met with Mrs. Hutchins last Tuesday. At that meeting, Mrs. Hutchins suggested that we contact our state representatives to determine the intent of the law. She told us that the administration is just following the law. In reference to the hiring criteria, Mrs. Hutchins informed us that different criteria were given different weights. Our state representative, Erica Storch, has helped me research the Education Reform Act 359. I've given you each a copy of the emergency rule and the appropriate revised West Virginia Code 18A 47A. I'm going to point out some areas where it appears that the administration has failed to follow the law, which are highlighted on your copies. First, on page 1, I'm on the emergency rule. The effective date of the emergency rule was June 14, 2013. Although the actual law was not in effect until July 1st, which can be found on page 4, the emergency rule was in effect at the time the interviews took place, and knowing the candidates would not be hired until after July 1st, the administration should have followed Code 18A 47A in the hiring process. On page 1, in describing the purpose of the rule, the emergency rule states in part, these processes and procedures will provide teachers and principals with the ability to have a significant voice in determining the makeup of their school communities. The rule continues on page 2, stating in part, the superintendent shall receive hiring recommendations for classroom teaching positions from principals and faculty senates. In addition, the principal shall receive hiring recommendations from the faculty senate at his or her school. It is very clear that the faculty senate should participate in the hiring process of classroom teachers, and Mrs. Gantz will detail the legislative significance of their participation. I spoke with the faculty senate president, Meredith Daler. Although Mrs. Daler has participated in other interviews for classroom teachers, she was told, and I quote, "You are not needed," when it was time to interview the candidates for the Wheeling Park High School band director position. Let me make this very clear. The president of the faculty senate knew when the interviews were taking place. She purposely cleared her schedule and was available at the scheduled time of the interviews. The president of the faculty senate was prevented from participating in the interview process and was not asked by the principal or the superintendent to submit a recommendation. On page 4, the processes and procedures are designed to avoid litigation or grievance. To that end, this policy is designed to allow teachers to be meaningfully involved in the hiring recommendation process in an open and honest manner without fear of reprisal, retaliation, or coercion. What law was the administration just following? It is clear that in disregarding the Education Reform Act, the administration has failed the students of Ohio County. As elected officials, we have entrusted you, the Board of Education, with the education of our children. You have the responsibility to put our students' interests first. Our state representative, Erica Storch, pointed out that the intent of the legislature was to improve the quality of public education in West Virginia, to change the process of hiring qualified personnel to educate our youth. and to allow principals and the faculty senate members the opportunity to have some involvement in the decision-making process. She said, quote, "If we do what we have always done, you will get what you have always gotten." Isn't that the definition of insanity? It is in our students' best interest to ensure that the Education Reform Act is followed. The future of the Wheeling Park Music Department is in your hands. Are you going to patronize and ignore us, allowing the administration to destroy the band? Or will you do what is best for the students of Ohio County? Thank you.
Are there any other delegations?
Yes.
Hello, my name is John Fritton. I have one son that graduated in 2009, and I have a son who is currently a student and a member of the Wheeling Park Band. I am an active member of the band parents and boosters. I am addressing the board today because I am concerned with the future of the Ohio County Music Program and the hiring of a permanent high school band director to motivate this historic program forward. Mr. Jason Birch, a highly recruited, respected, and experienced high school band director, has chosen to teach at the school where he is an alumnus. Mr. Birch took the first opportunity to return to Ohio County to lead the band program. He has shown that he has the ability to coordinate and produce excellent performances. Anyone can teach and direct the most talented students, but the band program at Park has always been inclusive. Mr. Birch continues this important part. Each student, regardless of the level of talent and the experience, is given the opportunity and direction to perform at their best at a level of excellence. He has developed positive working relationships with the community, the faculty, and the band parents. He has continually been available for all questions and concerns from parents, students, and any other interested persons at all hours, not just during school hours. He knows the commitment and the hours that it takes and the responds to these commitments, as did his predecessor. There are many faculty members that dedicate their talents to the music program. Mr. Birch has the knowledge, the vision, and the high school experience to support these dedicated individuals. Jason Birch has the support and the confidence of the band parents and boosters. Although I would like to continue to focus on the positive and ignore the negative of hiring the wrong person must be addressed. As a band parent, we are responsible for a majority of the financial support of the band. As chairman of the concessions, a highly labor-intensive and profitable fundraiser, my concern is that there will not be enough parents willing to work the concessions. This position of the Wheeling Park High School director demands communications and relationships building talents, not only with the best band students, but also with the faculty, the Board of Education, the parents, and the community. Mr. Birch, in less than 1 year at Park, has proven he has these talents. Last year, Mr. Alford chose to remain with the middle school music program, where he has been for many years.
I'm going to remind you, you're mentioning someone's name.
Well, I'm not slandering anything.
Just cautioning you.
Okay. His area of experience with middle school students is with middle school students. The Ohio County Schools has been a leader in the state in many areas. Can the Ohio County Board look to the spirit of the law in West Virginia, which states the best suited person should be hired into a teaching position? You, the Ohio County Board of Education, have the power and the authority to do what is best for the students. the music program in the future by continuing the best candidate, Jason Birch. Continues as a high school leader and he has proven to be. To quote Sam Mumley, great supporter of the OVAC. For the kids, for the kids, for the kids. It's all about the kids. Thank you.
Jamie Duquay.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for allowing us your time this evening. Page 17, line 11 of Bill 359, sorry, states that school district processes should include a focus on developing ethical and responsible character. Tonight, you have heard a lot about this law. I'm not here to talk about the law. I'm here to talk about our children. The goal of the law is the same as the goal of these parents. We strive to raise ethical and responsible children who grow to be the type of adult who will also do the same. My name is Jamie Duquay. I'm a 1995 graduate of Wheeling Park High School. I have 3 sons, 2 of which are currently in Ohio County Schools. 1 will be there. My oldest son, Shane, is a sophomore at Wheeling Park High School. He's in the brass section of the band. Over the past year, Shane has thrived in the band. Under Mr. Birch, he has learned more about the instrument he plays, as well as venturing into new instruments through the mentor program that Mr. Birch organized. He actually practiced. Yeah, hard to believe. He learned new music. He participated in solo and ensemble under the constant encouragement of Mr. Birch, something he would never have considered to do before. How can we teach our children consistency when the future of this program that they so dearly love is in turmoil year after year? I want the board to fully understand the parent perspective. I am sure that you have received many emails supporting Mr. Birch. Mr. Birch has big plans for the year for the band, and we have a proposed budget of over $8,000 increase from last year. The numbers are just astronomical. It's a lofty goal, but the band boosters have pledged that we will raise the money that the kids need to buy new instruments, to put back money for new uniforms, things like that. However, I want the board to be fully aware that in the event that Mr. Birch is not hired as band director for Wheeling Park High School, I, as acting vice president, will resign, as well as the co-secretaries and the chairman of concessions and the treasurer. We have no choice in this matter, as we cannot support any other candidate. My child will be not participating in the band as well, because he fears repercussions. Other parents that I've spoken to personally also plan to withdraw their child from the program. More than 50% of the people that I spoke to. Notice, I'm not using the word quit. I use withdraw. I don't raise my child to quit. However, I will allow my son to leave an environment that is counterproductive to developing his ethical development and responsible character. I am asking, I am pleading that you reconsider who you choose to lead our children through these critical years. Years that help determine which way a child molds their future. Do the right thing. Help us as parents, citizens, boosters, and taxpayers make the band at Wheeling Park High School the most successful band it can be. Not measured by awards, but measured by the outstanding persons that we, along with Mr. Jason Birch, have raised, as evidenced by their own words, which I would like to read a couple of inserts for you now, briefly. Christian Oliver. Any schmuck can stand in front of you guys and wave their arms, but it's you who decide how the band goes. That was a quote from a former band director. He goes on to say, throughout this year, Mr. Birch has been planning for the coming year. He wrote and arranged an entire field show so that the band would play at every football game, and from a personal opinion, it's amazing. Sadly, we won't be able to do it. If somebody else takes over, it'd be criminal to do a show that has Mr. Birch's name on it. Just at the end of the school year, Birch gave out an entire calendar filled with important dates and times of practices and events for the coming year, all the way until December. Now I ask, What does the other candidate have planned? We do not feel secure about having another director this year. We were promised an AP music theory class in which Mr. Birch would do a training seminar this summer for us so that he would be certified to teach it to us. The same fear we had when Mr. Garrett left is now back. Will we even have a music theory class? And I know how important AP classes are to us. This job doesn't start in August. It starts at the beginning of the previous year. And some of you are probably sitting there waiting for us to leave, but we're going to take that chance today. Excuse me. I'd like to thank the band members and parents here today. We did what we could, and that's what's important. I can only reassure everyone here today that if Mr. Birch is chosen, you will not be disappointed. You made a great choice hiring him in the beginning to replace Mr. Garrett. Now it's time to make an even better choice to hire him permanently as the band director. One more. Mr. Birch started the school year immediately, throwing music at us, song after song, one for trying out in January, one for Festival of Sound, one for percussion ensemble. Mr. Birch expected nothing but the best from us, and being a percussionist himself, for our drumline he had big plans. He improved us 100% from our technique for marching to our skill of playing keys for ensemble, and he pushed us to infinity and beyond. Mr. Birch has completely altered us in a way no one thought possible. For the first time since Birch was in high school, our percussion ensemble was selected for an honors recital. He was trying to give us every opportunity he could for us to be great. But not only did he bring the drumline together, he brought the whole band together. He began to understand us, and we understood him. By the spring concert, he had surpassed all our expectations of what he thought we could do individually and as a group. Coming to an end of the junior year, I couldn't wait for what's coming next. Already, I've seen the makings of Field Show that will change the way our audience and how we look at ourselves. Mr. Birch is making absolutely great plans for this band that will make us beyond amazing. He's the band director that we can joke around with and have fun with, and yet no other West Virginia high school band can do what we can do. This band is filled with terrific people that love to have fun and make music, and they don't deserve to be tossed around from director to director. Jason Birch has given this band a firm ground to stand on and improve upon. He has personally given me new interest in what this band is, and he makes me want to be the best that I can be. Isn't that what school learning is all about? That was Garrett. One more quote from a student, it's brief. This is from Maren Wren. I would love to come back in the future to teach under Mr. Birch, but not in a county that does not consider the well-being of its students. Please help us to make Wheeling Park High School Band the pride of Ohio County again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I think I'm the last one to speak.
And then I think Brian wanted to say.
Oh, Brian's going to?
Is that okay?
All right.
He'll be quick.
I have, you could pass that out. I highlighted the areas. And afterwards, I'll give you a copy of my speech in case I mess up. Okay. Board members, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening, and thank you, everybody. My name is Annette Gans. I have 3 sons. They graduated from Wheeling Park High School. My youngest son, Isaac, is a junior this year there. As a concerned parent, I was dismayed when I heard, despite parental and student support for the hiring of Mr. Birch, Dr. Fargo intends to recommend the hiring of David Alfred. This concern has led us to look at the education reform bill that was recently passed into law. The law was amended, adding new criteria for teacher hiring. It gives extra weight to recommendations from principals and faculty senate. Jennifer Wetzel touched on how the faculty senate was omitted during the interviews of Mr. Birch and Mr. Alfred, but because of time restraints was not able to go in detail. What we have found in our research of the bill is that according to Gail Manchin, West Virginia Board Education Vice President, principals and teachers have always been accountable for student achievement, but have felt that they were restricted in their ability to build a school teaching team. Manchin states that the new hiring practice policy empowers teachers and gives them a voice for the first time in building this team. Instead of giving our teachers a voice through the faculty senate, Ms. Taylor's voice was stifled. State Board member Lloyd Jackson said, the public should understand that if teachers in a meaningful process recommend a candidate to fill a teaching position and the principal and superintendent agree, that person will be hired. He continues, teachers know what their students and schools need, so why not allow them to participate in the hiring decisions? We ask the same question. Why was Mrs. Daler not allowed to participate? Please follow along with me in looking at your copy of the bill as I highlight the omissions. First, see highlighted area number 1. The superintendent shall receive hiring recommendations from classroom teaching positions from principals and faculty senates, and shall nominate and recommend applicants to the County Board of Education. Obviously, no recommendation was obtained from the faculty senate. Number 2, faculty senates may choose one of the options set forth in this policy as a mechanism by which to make hiring recommendations to the principal. If a faculty senate does not participate in the hiring process as set forth in the policy for a particular vacancy, the right of the faculty senate to submit recommendations regarding employment is forfeited for that vacancy. In this situation, the faculty senate member did not refuse to participate. She did not participate because she was discouraged from doing so. When the purpose of the law is to give teachers a voice, it is ironic that the faculty senate president was told she did not need to participate in these interviews. The process and procedures set forth, number 3. The processes and procedures set forth in this policy are designed to be effective and consistent among schools and counties and designed to avoid litigation or grievance. To that end, the policy was designed to allow students to be meaningfully involved in the hiring recommendation process in an open and honest manner without fear of reprisal, retaliation, coercion, and to minimize lost instructional time and classroom disruption. This addition is meant to dissuade frivolous lawsuits. If the law is followed without omissions, those involved need not fear a lawsuit. Number 4, the principal will notify the hiring committee members of single designee in writing of the time and place that the interview will be conducted. For purposes of this section, electronic mail communication shall satisfy the requirement of providing written notification and determining when and where the interviews will occur. Consideration shall be given to accommodating the time and travel needs of the applicants and the faculty senate members. In our situation, Ms. Daler knew when and where in advance and even cleared her calendar so that she could be available, only to be informed she was not needed. Numbers 5 and 6. Finally, as you look at Appendix A and B, you will note that they are identical, with the exception as to who is to complete the forms. Appendix A is to be filled out by the principal, while B is to be filled out by the faculty senate. As you look down the criteria for determining which applicant is highest qualified, please note 7. I recognize that no amount of weight is required to be assigned to any factor in making a recommendation, and further recognize that a factor may be assigned no weight at all. Unlike the old law that favors seniority-based hiring, this law empowers the principal and faculty senate to hire the most qualified. Just because someone has been in the school district longer does not make him the best one for the job. Thanks.
Yes. My name is Brian Quay. I'm a 1995 graduate of Wheeling Park High School. My son is a sophomore. That was my wife Jamie from earlier. Now, I wasn't much of a student in high school. I didn't play the band. I didn't do a whole lot. But one thing I got to say is we went on a band trip. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I'm baseball all week with the kids. And I just got a few minutes to speak. Watching Mr. Birch and Seth Bell. We're standing in a commons area, and there is a street. He is playing the drums, but they're not drums. They're buckets. They're dishes. He's playing a grate and it's a sewer grate. the kids urged them to get up there, ask if they can play with them. So what did those two do? They sat down. They started playing with buckets. They tried. This man was great at the buckets. He's been doing it for years. They tried. But I tell you what I saw in all these kids' eyes when I was standing there watching him was the inspiration that they show that they can do anything. The man has heart. It's all here. It's about the children. Okay? Out on your, it says inspire dreams. It's right on your monitor. I read it when I walked in. That's what band does, is inspire dreams. If you guys have not seen that, man, there's more to come if you hire him. I thank you very much for listening to me. You guys have a pleasant evening.
Thank you. Any additional delegations this evening?
Do you have any questions of the band parents?
No.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Jordan?
Yes, Mr. Casey?
Thank you, members of the board.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
No, you may not. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You
I
are-
realized I was not on the list.
You were not on the list and you need to be within 15 minutes of the meeting.
I understand.
I apologize.
Thank you, I understand, thank you.
Just following procedure, folks.
No problem, thanks.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, financial items. Dr. Vargo paid bills.